In today's video, we are making the ultimate prime rib sandwich. Together, we will transform your leftover prime rib into a drool-worthy sandwich layered with creamy horseradish sauce, melted cheese, peppery arugula, and sweet caramelized onions stuffed inside crusty French bread. Intrigued? Let's get started. We'll start with the most time-consuming part of the recipe, caramelized onions. First, we'll slice 4 large yellow onions. I'm using yellow onions here, but you can also use sweet varieties like Vidalia or Walla Walla, or even white onions. They'll work great for caramelizing. To prep the onions, we'll trim off the ends and peel away the outer layers. Then we'll slice each one in half through the root and top ends. Simply lay the halves flat on the cutting board and thinly slice each one. Next, we'll heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a large skillet over medium heat until it is shimmering hot. We'll add all the sliced onions and saute them with a wooden spoon for about 2 minutes. Now, I know it looks like a lot of onions, but trust me, this is just the right amount. After sauteing, we'll lower the heat to medium-low and let them cook uncovered for about an hour. For the first 25 to 30 minutes, we'll leave them alone. This is key because stirring too much prevents them from browning. But after the 30-minute mark, it's okay to stir every 5 minutes to ensure even browning and caramelization. Also, we'll make sure to scrape the bottom of the pan to make sure that they're not sticking. Now, I know I said that we'll cook them for an hour, but remember that visual cues are more important than the clock. Factors like the type of onion and its moisture content can affect the cooking time. You'll know that they're ready when they're evenly browned, have a soft gem-like texture, and have lost most of their volume. If they start sticking to the bottom of the pan, you can deglaze it with a splash of water, stock, or even balsamic vinegar to loosen things up and add a little extra flavor. Once the onions are perfectly caramelized, we'll season them with half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Give them a good stir and then transfer to a bowl and set them aside. Next, we'll whip up a quick horseradish sauce. When it comes to horseradish sauce, we have 2 options. The classic version made with mayo and sour cream, or a lighter version made with yogurt. Since we're splurging a little today, we'll go with the classic version, but if you prefer the yogurt-based one, we've got that recipe for you on the blog. In a medium-sized bowl, we'll combine 3 tablespoons of prepared horseradish, half a cup of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We'll whisk everything together until it's smooth and creamy. We'll transfer it into a bowl and sprinkle it with some chopped chives. At this point, most of the hard work is done. Now let's talk about the bread, which I think is the most important part of the sandwich. When it comes to leftover meat sandwiches, I feel like bread is often an afterthought, but I think it's so important that it can make or break the whole experience. Here, you'll want to choose a sturdy bread that can soak up all those delicious juices without falling apart. Today, we're using a crusty French baguette, but other options like ciabatta, sourdough, or even a rustic country loaf would also work. Before we dive into the prime rib, I think we can all agree on one thing. No sandwich is complete without a bit of greenery and some cheese. For my prime rib sandwich, we'll use a handful of arugula for its slightly bitter, peppery flavor, and a few slices of provolone cheese for its mild and creamy taste. That said, feel free to use whatever you have on hand. Sliced cheddar or even Gruyere would also work beautifully here. Last week, we shared a video on how to make prime rib using the Foolproof reverse sear method. If you're looking for a recipe that guarantees perfect prime rib every time, be sure to check that out. For this sandwich, I'm using leftovers from the prime rib we made in that video, but honestly, any cooked prime will work beautifully in this recipe. Using a sharp knife, we'll slice the prime rib into thin pieces. If you'd like, you can trim off any excess fat for a later bite if necessary. Now that we have everything ready, let's assemble these sandwiches and bring it all together. First, we'll arrange the oven rack in the middle position and preheat the broiler. To make cleanup easy, we'll line a baking sheet with parchment paper and set it aside. Next, we'll cut our baguette into 4 equal sections and slice each one lengthwise, being careful not to cut all the way through so the halves stay attached. This helps hold everything together once the sandwich is loaded. We'll open up each piece of bread and spread about 2 to 3 tablespoons of horseradish sauce on both sides, making sure to cover every inch. Then we'll layer in a few slices of that beautifully cooked prime rib, followed by 1 slice of cheese. Once all these sandwiches are assembled, we'll pop them under a broiler. Let them broil for about 2 minutes, just until the cheese is melted and bubbly. Though anytime you use the broiler, it's a good idea to keep a close eye on it. When they're ready, we'll take them out of the oven and finish them off with a handful of fresh arugula and some of those sweet caramelized onions we made earlier. Finally, we'll sprinkle everything with a pinch of finishing salt, like molten salt, or you can use kosher salt too. If you're serving these right away, go ahead and enjoy them while they're still warm, or if it's a part of a buffet, picnic, or any other gathering, you can wrap them up in parchment paper and secure them with kitchen twine. Trust me when I say they won't last long. And there you have it, friends, a delicious prime rib sandwich you can easily make in the comfort of your own kitchen.
Oh my god, this is so good, Callie.
You'll find the links to all the recipes I mentioned in the description below, so feel free to check out the blog post for more details, including ingredient substitution, storage, and reheating tips. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Using the Foolproof reverse serve serum. Okay, 1, 2. Let's do it again. You'll find the links to all of these recipes. Cannot say it.